We're going to have a look at some of the common tools that you'll encounter in the bush regeneration industry now. Starting with the personal protective equipment. So for that we're going to have a full brim hat, we've got sunblock, we've also got a clear pair of goggles here. That's for when you're dealing with spiky plants or things that might have sticks and whatnot, working in confined areas where you might poke your eyes, that sort of thing. We have a mask, that's for things such as working with asthma weed, where you've got an airborne fine particle that you might inhale. It's always important to have a first aid kit handy as well. Then for hand protection, we've got a couple of different types of gloves here. First pair is a leather sort of rigger pair of gloves. These are really good for when you're doing work with sharp implements. So that might be your saw, the hand secateurs, or if you're working with a particularly spiky plant such as a climbing asparagus. The next type of glove is these more thicker plastic coated type, and we use these for when we're using chemicals such as herbicide application. So that's just to keep your skin protected from those chemicals. These ones aren't really suitable, the riggers gloves, because what they tend to do is absorb the chemical. Then we have our actual tools. This is your common bush regenerators pouch, as it's affectionately known. That's usually worn with the belt on the side of your hip. And there's three main tools. The first of those is your trowel, obviously used for digging up things. The next is a really sharp knife, and you'll notice that that's got a really bright handle on it. That's really effective if you put it down in the leaf litter. It makes it really easy to find it again. If you've got tools that haven't got bright handles on them, it can be a good idea to wrap some fluorescent or brightly coloured tape around the handles. The third most common implement in this is a nice sharp pair of secateurs. It's really good for de-seeding weeds. And sometimes you'll have a fourth pouch hole, and that might contain your nice folding sharp saw. Now, some other common tools that you'll encounter is the loppers. Very important for cutting and painting techniques. Then we get onto our digging implements. Firstly, a small mattock. These are really handy for lifting out asparaguses, and they can also be useful on planting if your site needs some revegetation. And you might see these occasionally. This is called a peter lever, and as the name suggests, it's simply used for levering out weeds. And these woven plastic bags are really common for placing the weeds in. And lastly, we have our chemical. In this instance, it's a registered herbicide for use in bushland. Now, this usually is decanted from a larger container into these small applicator bottles, and this little bottle has a nozzle which makes it easy to apply the herbicide onto the target plant. And make sure also that your little applicator bottle also has the sticker on it to say what's in that. So if you're using a herbicide, it's important to remember that it must be registered for that purpose, and that you strictly stick to the manufacturer's specifications for the way it's meant to be used. And if you need further information, you can always refer to the material safety data sheet. This particular one's got a red food dye in it. That's just to assist in when it's being used in the bushland setting, so you can see where it's been applied and allows other people to know where it's been applied as well. And this might seem like a lot of tools and equipment, but essentially you can do a lot of bush regeneration with just the simple basics. That might be just the pouch and a pair of gloves to start with.